Israeli forces losing sleep? Iran Proxy revives a bizarre weapon, raising fresh fears along the Gaza border. Gaza's balloon war sends Netanyahu and his team into a panic, as an old tactic suddenly returns to the battlefield. Israel's October 7 nightmare returns at the Gaza border, as Hamas-linked tactics raise memories of the deadly attack. From balloons to drones, Israel threatens Hamas with fire again, warning that every new aerial threat could trigger retaliation. Kites turned into weapons again? Israel declares every launch an attack, putting the fragile ceasefire under growing pressure. Ceasefire under threat, as Netanyahu gets a slap on the wrist from Trump and tensions with Hamas threaten to erupt again? As tensions reignite between Hamas and Israel, the IDF now faces a new challenge as aerial launches from Gaza increase. Israel is alarmed by a spike in balloon, kite, and drone launches from Gaza towards southern Israeli communities, raising fresh security concerns. In retaliation, Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz ordered a total crackdown on Gaza's balloon launchers, signaling a tougher response. Katz ordered the IDF to act forcefully, including against Hamas leaders allegedly organizing or directing these launches. Israeli forces have been given the green light to respond with significant force inside the Gaza Strip, according to reports. This includes targeted strikes against Hamas leaders or those allegedly behind drone, balloon, and kite launches from Gaza. The IDF can also reportedly evacuate neighborhoods and areas in the Gaza Strip where these launches are taking place. Israel Katz claimed every launch from Gaza will be considered an act of war, regardless of the type of aerial device involved. The Israeli defense minister also alleged that his forces will not allow any return to the conditions that existed before October 7. The Israel defense minister said, and I quote, "We consider every launch an act of war in every respect, and we are committed to ensuring the absolute defense of Israeli communities. A balloon is treated like a kite, and a kite like a drone, whether or not it is carrying explosives. We will not allow a return to the reality that existed before October 7. Anyone who organizes, launches, or permits these launches will be dealt with immediately and with the utmost severity." End quote. On August 23, Israel carried out massive airstrikes across the Gaza Strip despite the ongoing ceasefire, escalating fears of renewed fighting. An Israeli airstrike on a building caused a massive explosion and widespread destruction in Gaza's Zuwaydah, according to reports. The two separate airstrikes killed at least 2 people in Gaza, including a 4-year-old boy, according to AP. Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner reportedly held marathon meetings with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu last week amid the rising tensions. Jared Kushner reportedly asked the Israeli Prime Minister to draw down attacks on Gaza, according to sources cited by AP. Israeli army officials have accused Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of escalating regional wars to potentially delay upcoming elections, according to Mariv. The unnamed officials told Mariv that Netanyahu did not want military operations in Gaza to end, raising concerns over the political impact of continued fighting. The officials warned on August 22 that further military attacks could be used to disrupt or delay the upcoming Knesset elections. Military officials also said Israel's reservist heavy army lacked enough manpower to sustain prolonged operations across several active fronts. They warned that the army could not easily maintain security zones simultaneously across Gaza, Lebanon, Syria, and the West Bank. Netanyahu is also facing growing political pressure after Reuters reported that his Likud party could lose around a third of its seats in the next election. The opposition has also accused Netanyahu of escalating tensions with Turkey as part of a broader strategy to strengthen his political position. Israel recently struck Syria's Abu al-Duha airbase over claims that Turkey was preparing to establish a military presence at the site. The growing Israel-Turkey tensions have added another regional flashpoint as Netanyahu faces increasing pressure ahead of the Knesset elections. Hamas operatives have allegedly stolen IDF drilling equipment in southern Gaza again, marking another reported security breach. This is reportedly the second time Hamas operatives have engineered a heist within just 1 week, deepening Israeli concerns. Israeli officials are reportedly concerned that Hamas may rig the stolen equipment with explosives and turn it into a deadly trap. The IDF allegedly claimed Hamas could return the rigged equipment to the battlefield in an attempt to kill Israeli soldiers. On August 16, a group of Hamas operatives were reportedly spotted stealing ground drilling materials during the operation. However, Israeli troops reportedly did not open fire on the Hamas operatives despite the alleged theft. Another Hamas cell was also reportedly spotted operating beyond the yellow line during ongoing IDF operations. Last week, Hamas operatives were reportedly seen crossing the yellow zone to steal equipment from Israeli positions. More than 65 yellow line incursions by Hamas were reportedly recorded within 2 weeks, according to Channel 14. The number of reported crossings has allegedly tripled since the ceasefire with Israel, raising fresh security concerns. A senior Israeli official alleged that Hamas may be preparing a major attack against IDF forces in the Gaza Strip. But the IDF denied that any incursions or equipment robberies were carried out by Hamas, according to Channel 14. Israeli troops stationed along the Gaza border are warning of fresh armed activity inside the Strip, raising new concerns about possible preparations for further attacks. The soldiers say they have observed gunmen operating in the area, while also reporting that explosives are being placed near the so-called Yellow Line, increasing fears of renewed violence. The Yellow Line divides areas of Gaza that are under Israeli control from those controlled by Hamas, making the reported activity particularly sensitive for troops stationed nearby. Some Israeli soldiers say the situation feels eerily similar to the period leading up to the October 7, 2023, Hamas-led attack, when warning signs were reportedly building before the assault began. Before the 2023 attack, Israeli surveillance troops had warned their superiors about Hamas training and preparations that appeared to be connected to a potential large-scale assault. Israeli surveillance soldiers had also reported suspicious Hamas movements and explosive-related activity, describing developments that they believed could indicate preparations for an imminent attack. According to a report by the Times of Israel, many of those warnings were not acted upon in time, raising questions about how seriously the intelligence was treated before the October 7 attack. Now, Israeli soldiers fear that their latest alerts about Hamas activity could once again be ignored, potentially allowing warning signs to go unaddressed until it is too late.
Upgrade your news experience with the all-new HT app. Download now.